that up there, but I'm just really lightly adding this green effect to the very edge of his beard and hair. Just add a little continuity of that green, as if the energy is, or as if his beard is almost made of this same fell fire. That way it's less like hair and more like just magical energy around him. Just infusing every part of him. Oh, that's too bright. Once this thins a bit, I'll come back and steal just a little bit of that. Really thin that out. There we go. And once again, we're having this issue of trying to get up underneath things. The wings are kind of in the way, making it really hard to get some of this green down on just the tips of this hair. There we go. Okay, and then, like I said, for the horns, I want to kind of do a little different. I want the tips of the horns to be very much like the nubs on his wings. I want it to be bright. I want this color to really come to a point at that tip of that horn. And then from there, I want to kind of fade it back just a little bit so that as we pull, it kind of blends. Oh, crap. Got a little bit on his ear there. And that's not the end of the world, but it is annoying. There we go. Just a quick wet brush. When that dries, there will still be a little bit of that green. But like I said earlier, this green is supposed to be giving off a bit of light anyway, so I don't mind if there's like a hint of that green other places on his body that maybe isn't actually on fire, isn't filled with that energy. So that's not the worst thing that could have happened, but it is annoying because I wasn't trying to get green there. So yeah. I'm just going to ride the ridge of the horn all the way down just to carry that green. There we go. Really focus on getting a lot of that on the top. Alright, so that's pretty much him done. Like I said, I've got a little bit of highlighting to do on his stomach to kind of, and like the biceps, really to bring out the highs. And then I will be going back over the green on the nubs on his wings. Oh, speaking of which, crap, I forgot those two little nubs. They're just in such a weird place that I keep forgetting about them. Let me just bring a little more of this paint up in here. Alright, let's just get a little bit on this here. And they butt right up against the wings, which makes it really hard to get in that space. There we go. Yeah, those are going to take several layers. They're so small that they just don't want to hold any of that paint at all. Ugh. Oh, I just blew my hand right on that other one I just did. That's frustrating. Alright, there we go. Now if I could just get him to not fall over. Okay, so let me go look and see if I can find the purple I really want to do the abs for while this dries, because otherwise I'm going to end up touching that again, and that's going to be annoying. I definitely don't want to do that. So I'm going to dry this off, let it hang, and I will be right back. This shouldn't take longer than 30 seconds. I'm going to close that because otherwise I'm going to come back and accidentally spill it, because that's the way life works, especially with Citadel paint pots. Alright, sorry that took a minute, but I couldn't really figure out what was going to give me the look I'm going for here. We've got quite a few pinks that might work, a couple purples. Like I said, I got this speed paint that's kind of an interesting one. I have several of my airbrush colors that might work. That's a red. I feel like this fairy pink's not far off. It's a base, so it's not meant to highlight, but I think it'd work okay. I was also thinking maybe Coven Purple. It's not as pink. I think the Orc Blood is maybe a little too close to what's already on there. So I'm gonna avoid that one. I don't want it to look muddy. I want it to pop. I really want to get like the accent around the abs and pecs and things like that to really kind of pop. So I think Pixie Pink is maybe too pink, and Warlock Purple would work. So let me just put a few of these out and see what I can do to get some kind of look. I just want to give a little bit of depth to this once it's done. And I think that maybe even Warlock Purple might be too bright. I mean, you can see it right there. Let me try it. I'm worried that this Coven Purple will also be a little too close to what it is. I might need to go with the Fairy Pink even though it's a base color. Oh, actually, that might work. Let me try that one. I like that one, actually. Get this detail brush here. I'm just gonna get a little bit of paint on there. And then I really just want to go over the very brightest highs where like the light really hits with this bright pink. So we're gonna just put, going full bat nips apparently. Those of you who don't get the Batman and Robin reference, we can't be friends anymore. Oh, fuck me. That did not work out well. I'm trying to get just the edge, but this brush is not great for edging. It's meant for using the very tip of this brush, but this is a really, really tiny space. And so trying to drag along that to really follow that ridge where it drags back that way is not really working that well. There we go. And then we're gonna do the same kind of thing on these ridges up here along his biceps and shoulders. Just add just a little bit of these wherever the light naturally kind of wants to hit. Wherever it's raised up just a little bit higher, we're going to add just a little bit of this pink, and we're going to just let that kind of settle in there a bit. Maybe a little more up on the ridge of his pecs a bit. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can really tell. Like, it just looks a little off. But in person, like, especially like once I start to kind of fade that in a little bit more and it starts to dry, like that's gonna really look more or it's gonna look a lot less flat than it did before, which is what I'm really trying to go for. So yeah. There we go. Yeah, that definitely helped a lot, although I've completely screwed this brush because it's not meant for this kind of painting, but it's okay. I can clean it and fix the tip with some brush soap and things like that. I've been a little rough on him. I should feel bad. Okay, and then the last place I really need this high color, and I think I actually want to go a little thicker with it anyway, is up on the tips of his ears. Like, I think I want the ridge line here to really be that bright. So we're gonna just follow that, just like that. And now here comes the fact that I'm right-handed, screwing everything up again, because now I have to do the same exact thing for the other ridge, and it really doesn't work. Oh my god, this brush is screwed. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to try to restore the tip of this brush before I really screw this model to hell. There we go. I'm never going to be able to really use this brush the same way again. It just cannot keep a tip now. It keeps forking at the end, which is really frustrating. There's like one little hair loose. Fuck. Okay, yeah, that definitely helped. There is a little bit along the face that could benefit from some of this bright pink too. I'm going to switch to my very, very fine detail brush and just really get in there and try to just add a little bit of this pink. He does have what looks like fangs on here, but they're so small I don't think I want to even try to get in there with any kind of white to make that happen. I don't even think it's possible to do that without really screwing that up. So I'm just not even gonna be that ambitious with it. But I am gonna try to bring some of this, just a little bit of this pink to like his chin and like his mandibles over here. Maybe a little bit on this one here. Bring this around on that side. And just a little bit on this. Just to really, I think maybe the inner part of the ear here could benefit from that as well. I wish I was able to paint as well left-handed as I am right-handed, just because there are so many times where flipping the mini around gives you a weird angle on something, and so on this side, you know, getting up underneath the ear right there was kind of easy, but on the other side it's not easy at all to get right in here and go up the edge. Same thing with these. Okay, just a little bit. Okay. All right, I think he is, you know, his body's looking really good. I want to do a little more with this, with his wings, and I think the only way to really do what I want to do with that is to add a little more of the green as kind of a glow effect that looks like it's bleeding through. I know we tried a little bit of the dry brushing effect earlier, and it didn't really work well. But I think what I want to do is not so much a full dry brush as just a light brush, maybe a wet, like kind of almost feels more like a wet brush. I don't know. I'm just gonna thin that a little bit on the paper, and then just like, especially in places like this where it feels like there's some pock marking, I just want to kind of just stipple that in a little bit. Stipple? I don't know. It's a word. And then we're going to do the same thing underneath, but very, very lightly. Just add just a little bit of that in there where it looks like the whole wing kind of has just a little bit of that effect, even if the line doesn't quite run right through where it is. It should have like a distinctive yellowish tint to it. Nothing on this guy should really ever not have any of that green, just because it's a bright color, you know, and the light from it should be kind of everywhere, even where it's not actually glowing from. So we're just going to add just a little bit of it through the whole thing, so that it's kind of like he's glowing a greenish color all the time. And that is a finished mini, I think. I don't think there's much else I can do to that. I mean, I could... I'm getting very dangerously into that phase of not knowing when to stop, because every time I think I'm done, there's something I kind of want to try, and I think I'm going to end up regretting it. I can't get this brush clean. That's the other problem with using a dry brush for other things like this. It just soaks up all that paint because it's designed to hold on to just a little bit no matter what you do. There we go. I don't know. Like, I'm thinking that these ridges along here need to be a different color. Like, I don't want to do it on the underside. I feel like like I said, I was going to go a grayish blue, but I think I just leave it at this point. I think I call him good, and we just don't ruin him anymore. I mean, I'm already rubbing off the primer on the base here, which is not ideal. Oh crap, that almost spilled. I've handled him too much. I'm just gonna be done. This video just hit the hour mark. We're gonna call that. This is our finished demon form demon for the Heroquest game. It pairs with this Warlock. So the character is the Warlock, and she has an ability that lets her transform into a demon, which gives her advantages in combat. And so next time I will paint this one. That should be a quick and pretty easy paint. As you can see, she's half the size of this demon. And the detail is not nearly as complicated. I'm going to, come up with a skin tone for her skin, a hair color. I'm going to use that Tesseract Glow for the hand and the dagger as well. And then we're going to do an underskirt and then her overcoat. And those are really the only colors we're going to have. And we're just going to do them light, and we're going to do them quick, and we're going to get her table ready. I'm probably going to stick to just speed paints for her. She already has the Zenithal paint highlighting for the base coat, for the priming. And so using the speed paints on that is going to be really quick and effective. So the only thing that isn't going to be a speed paint is going to be the glow on her hands and the daggers. So, yeah, so that's this guy. Let me see if I can get any kind of good video for him so you guys can really see how he turned out. I'm going to just kind of spin him around, let you guys kind of take a look at his wings, his ears. I would like to make his eyes glow a little better, but they're so small. I just don't see how that's possible. And there's his tail. I think he turned out really well. At some point, I will go back through and re-prime this base, and then I will put some kind of permanent color onto it, probably like a stone gray or something like that. But yeah, I think he's done. I like him. I think he turned out actually way better than I thought he was going to turn out. Obviously this took me a lot of videos to get done, which I apologize for. In the future, I'd like to keep all my minis to at least, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours from start to finish. And this one obviously took me way more. So that's the video. If you guys liked it, I hope you guys all follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Perrin Paints Minis. Obviously, as friends on Facebook, you can always catch my videos as I upload them there as well. Tell all your friends, send people my way, let them know that what they're getting is just a guy who likes to paint. Not anyone special, nothing professional, just me doing what I love to do, and they're welcome to join me on any of the projects that I do. So the next one, like I said, will be that Warlock, and then we'll go from there. I have a lot more to paint, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you guys. See you next time.